Hello everyone! Husky Ninja here with a brand new episode of my Pawsome deck series, where people like yourselves can submit your decks on my Discord server under the Pawsome decks section. It could be from Decklog or Encore decks, but today we have a good old classic by Space Cowboy. And it is their Darkness waifu deck, called Darkness. Please, I need it. It is a 2-trigger deck, which involves my defensive strength and Orc Invasion Climax cards. There's only one card that is not Darkness, but has a function with a Darkness card, as well as some that are in JP, but for some of their names, so you guys can see what they are, I will put this to translate. Just so you guys can see for yourselves. As there is quite a lot of level 0s compared to the other levels, so without further ado, let's start! And we'll start with Summer Vacation Darkness. Is a level 0 with the ability of action. Send one of your other characters from stage to waiting room. Send this to waiting room as well. And look up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 Sneaker Bunko or Adventurer or Worries character from among them. Show it to your opponent, add it to hand, and send the rest to your waiting room. That is right, everyone. This is another one of those cards from Sneaker Bunko. Well, from the Bunko decks, which you can use with their mainline deck. It is a really cute artwork, I have to admit. But it's, in a way, it works it's basically your character retrieval, so you can basically get something you do need from your deck. You run 2 copies of her. Next, we have 4 copies of A Break in the Forest Darkness, which is your plus 500 continuous assist, which is to all characters in front of this card. In action, put 1 A Break in the Forest Darkness from hand into your waiting room and rest this card. Choose 1 adventurer or magic character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. It's a good way of, if you feel like I'm not going to play another copy of her, but I do have a second copy or third copy of her in hand, discard it to your waiting room, rest a copy of this card, and then get a character you do need from your waiting room to your hand. So in a way, it works almost like the door trigger of a climax card. But it's good to see on a level 0 character card. Next, we have 3 copies of Shameful Abuse Darkness, which has auto, pay 1, put 2 cards from your hand into your waiting room. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 2 Worries or Robber characters, reveal them to your opponent, put them into your hand, and shuffle your deck. And auto, when this card attacks, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your waiting room. If there are any climax among these cards, this card gets plus 2 soul to the end of turn. So as long as there's nothing in front of this card when she attacks, you get 4 in terms of soul damage. If there is, she gets 3, and this is without climax cards. So it's a good level 0. I might actually build this deck in the simulator to see how well it runs. Who knows? But next, we have 2 copies of Beauty in a Yukata Darkness. Auto, when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may put 3 cards from the top of your deck in your waiting room, which, as long as they're all characters, increase the likelihood of you getting a trigger ability you need, or increase the likelihood of you going to be able to defend by cancelling an attack from your opponent. And auto, pay 1, put 1 climax card from hand in your waiting room. When this card is placed on stage from hand, you pay the cost. If you do, choose a climax card in your waiting room and return to hand. It's a good way as well to get the cards you do need for either +1 soul and 1,000 power, aka a 1/1, or to play this card, pay and get the climax card you do need out for a climax combo. Next, we have 2 copies of Special Treatment is Fantasize in Darkness. When this card... Oh. Sorry, I thought I was going to burp there. When a climax is put on your climax area, choose one of your characters, and that character gets 1,000 power to the end of turn. Action, pay 1, put the top card of your deck into your clock, and rest this card. Search your deck for up to 1 adventurer character, reveal it to your opponent, and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. I would mostly use this for the for the auto ability. Its second one I see as optional. As long as you don't do any level 3, you're good. But it's you're that close that if you can take any more damage from your opponent, you're gonna level up anyway. So you might as well beat your opponent to the punch of leveling you up. So it's a good way to level yourself up as long as your clock is of the correct amount. And also a good way to get some extra power. Next we have 4 copies of Sightseeing in Darkness. The reason I'm skipping the rest of the name is because I am unfamiliar with Konosuba as I haven't watched it, even though it's on my to-watch list. But we have 4 copies of This Darkness with auto, pay 1, put the top card of your deck into your clock. When this is placed on the stage from your hand, you may pay the cost. If you do, look up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 2 yellow characters from among them, reveal them to your opponent, put them in your hand, and put the rest in your rain room. Which is just any card in this deck, because it is a mono yellow. So this, I'd prefer to go this route for it instead of having to rest the card, because it means you can't attack with it that turn. Next up, we have Swimsuit Darkness with 4 copies, continuous, and the number of cards in your stock is 2 or less. This gets 1,500 power. It is a good, just common guardian level 0 that's really useful. Especially when it's you go first or you don't have a lot of stock. It's a good way to make sure you have a little bit of extra power to your attack. And next up, we're going into our level 1s, which there aren't that many level 1s. This is very level 0 heavy, I have to admit. But we have the backup card, which is Darkness, the daughter of the Dustiness family. I'm so sorry if I said the name wrong, but it's how it's translated. Auto, when you use this card's assist, if you have a Sneaker Bunko Adventure or Worldly Desires character, choose one of your characters in battle, and that gets 1,000 power. When it says assist, I think it just means it's backup. So when you use it as backup, and you have any of the trait characters, you can choose a character in your battle, and he gets an extra power boost. But if you use its backup, you can give a character an extra 1,000 power when it's being front attacked. It is a good backup, because there aren't that many that feature Darkness, except for this one. But it's still good to see a backup card in level 1 as well as in level 2. But there are 2 copies of this one. Next, there are 2 copies of Endurance is My Forte Darkness. Continuous, during your turn, this gets 1,000 power. Auto, when this is put into your waiting room from the stage, look up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 climax card among them, reveal it to your opponent, and put it into your hand. Put the rest into your waiting room. If you put 1 card into your hand, choose 1 card in your hand and put in your waiting room. So it's a good way to basically get a card you need and discard any cards you don't need from your hand. Plus, she continuously gets 1,000 power during your turn, which is really nice. Next up, we have this darkness card here. I am not even going to attempt this part. But continuous, this card gets 500 power for each of your other adventurer or magic characters. So basically anything of its trait, it will get a power boost. And auto climax combo, when this card attacks, if Orc Invasion is in your climax area, and you have 2 or more other adventurer or magic characters, choose one of the following effects and perform it. You have the choice of Fierce Battle Veneer. Oh, yeah, so if you choose Veneer or a Break in the Forest Darkness in your waiting room, you can return it and search your deck for up to 1 Fierce Battle Veneer or a Break in the Forest Darkness, reveal it to your opponent, put in your hand, and shuffle your deck. So it's basically a specific character retrieval for this card. I do like how it gets 500 power for each of your other characters on stage, but not so much about its climax combo. But I think if you know what you're doing, it can help you get some really good cards out. But I know it is to retrieve this card here. It just basically lets you get a character from your waiting room into your hand. Now we are into our level 2s. We have 2 copies of Fierce Battle Veneer, who this darkness can also get out. It's the only non-darkness card, but it's because it has functions with darkness. Auto, when this card is placed on the stage from your hand, choose up to 2 Crusader Darkness in your waiting room. Put them into the bottom of your deck in any order. In action, Fusion, put 1 A Break in the Forest Darkness from your stage face up underneath this as a marker. Search your deck for up to 1 Crusader Darkness. Put on the position that this card was on. For this card, and all markers underneath this card, underneath that Crusader Darkness, in any order as markers, and shuffle your deck. So it's basically like, I make a marker for myself, and then I'm going to go and help out another darkness. So you're basically essentially making a darkness sandwich. That's the only way I could describe it. For level 2, for its own, it does have a low attack, but I see it as a way to get things for the Crusader Darkness out. Next, we have a copy of Standing Tall with Arms Open Wide with Cabbages. Which, auto, when you use this card's backup, uses card's backup. I love how it says backup here, but this one said assist. It is the same word. But anyhow, when you use this card's backup, if you have an adventure character, choose one of your characters in battle, and that character gets 1,000 power to the end of turn. Action, counter, backup, 2,500, level 2. Pay 1, put this card from your hand in your waiting room. Choose one of your characters that's been frontal attacked, and that character gets an 2,500 power to the end of turn. So it's basically, this isn't enough for a backup, but you are at level 2 and you have this as a choice, go for this one. Next, we have 2 copies of Dead on Accuracy Darkness, which is your level 3 assist. That being of cards that are level 3 or higher in front of it get 2,000 power. And auto, this ability activates up to 1 per turn when your other adventurer or magic character is placed on the stage from your hand. Choose one of your other characters, and that character gets a level until the end of next turn. So if you have this out and you have like either of these 2 out, you can give them an extra level, making them a level 4, or to a level 2 and make it a level 3. So it's a good way to just make sure you're a bit higher level when you need to get around abilities are like, if this card's reversed, if its opponent is X level, that card ends up being the bottom of your deck. So it's a good way to negate such abilities. And I think that's just really cool to have. Next, we're into our level 3s, which there are only 2 level 3 cards. 4 copies of the Crusader Darkness, and 3 copies of Setting Out Darkness. But we'll start with the Crusader Darkness. Continuous, this card gets 500 for each of your other adventure or magic characters. In auto, when this is placed on stage from hand, or by fusion, look up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 card from among them, put it in your hand, and put the rest in your waiting room. And it has Climax combo. My defensive strength is in your Climax area. And you have 4 or more other adventure or magic characters. This card gets a fall ability till the end of your opponent's next turn. Auto, this card activates up to 1 per turn. When the damage dealt by this card or character facing this card is cancelled, you can deal 1 damage to your opponent. Damage can be cancelled. So this is a good way to make sure you got some damage on your opponent. Because with the Climax card, it makes her 3 soul damage, but then when you attack and it gets cancelled, you can deal an extra damage. This is also not including any like trigger damage you could do, but it's just like from abilities and from the Climax card. And next up, we have Setting Out Darkness. With auto, when this is placed on stage from hand, you may put the top card of your clock in your waiting room, so it's a clock healer. And auto Climax, pay 1 when this card attacks. If a card named First Indication is in your Climax area, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your characters and that gets 2,000 power and the following ability till the end of turn. Auto, this card's ability activates up to 1 per turn. When the damage dealt by this card is cancelled, you may deal 2 damage to your opponent. Damage may be cancelled. So with both of these, they basically have the option of you can burn your opponent for either 1 damage with the Crusader Darkness, or for 2 with the Setting Out Darkness. And next up, we are on to the Climax cards. We have 4 copies of my Defensive Strength, which is a 1/1, and gives you the option of when it's triggered, you can choose a card and either put it in your hand or put it into your stock. And 4 copies of Orc Invasion, with its trigger being option to basically bounce one of your opponent's characters when you trigger to their hand. So that card there's a bit strong. Attack. This card's your trigger. You can bounce and assist card back, or the card that is a bit too overpowered. If it's on the front row, it gives you an open spot, so when you attack, you get an extra bit of soul damage. If it's the back row, you just less, and it's an assist card you're bouncing. It's a little bit less damage you need, well, power you need to worry about, like, are you going to be over or not? But that is Space Cowboy's Darkness deck. I will be putting a link to it down below to Encore decks. And also while you're there, please make sure you like and subscribe. Check out the rest of the videos here on my channel. Until next time.